I know that I'm inventing a new term here, but it's a trap game. It's a trap game. It's crazy.
The Eagles put up 44 points on them in Detroit. The Niners put up 41 points on them in Detroit. The Bengals put up 34 points on them in Detroit. It's time for the Vikings to get right. They'll kick their ass. That is just as blatantly as I'm going to say it. They're going to kick their ass.
And with that, welcome into Vikings Vent Line. That was Friday when Declan Goff assured a one-sided Vikings win. Phil Mackey said the Vikings would lose, and I said it would be a close win for the Vikings. And now here we are.
Wow,
Vikings Vent Line, sponsored by our friends at Surly Brewing and also at TCL TV. If you watch this game on a TCL, well, I hope it didn't break your TV.
Never.
Because that might have been the worst football game I've seen. As I tweeted, boys, it was like a Stooges film. You were waiting for the next screw-up. Vikings-Lions has never been more egregious than that. Zolgad, Declan Goff, and in the middle, back home for a brief appearance, our Michael McDonald, Phil Mackey.
Yeah. By the way, we had some countdown technical issues. Are you guys good? Can you hear me okay? I can hear you okay.
Yep. You're just a little hot.
I'm a little hot. Yeah, I'm hot.
You're
You damn right I'm a little hot.
You're back in Minnesota. This game just absolutely killed us. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, this is Vikings Vent Line, the most fan-friendly and interactive show in Minnesota sports. Daily Vikings entertainment, and in this case, therapy. I know that Declan's going to be answering your emails at vikingsventline@gmail.com. That's how you can get on the show. We'll be popping your comments up on the screen. I told you guys starting Wednesday I had a bad feeling about this. The Lions had 3 extra days to prepare, which I think is part of the reason why they got off to a hot start. But then, even in our text thread during the game, Judd's like, don't worry, the Lions are going to Lions. They did by going for it on 4th and 1 from Vikings field goal range, protecting a 2-point lead, and then throwing a pass. Jared Goff is hot garbage. Sean McVay, I'm going to steal a line from our producer AJ here at Score North. Sean McVay deserves Coach of the Year again, based on what we've seen from Jared Goff on a different team this year. And I thought the Vikings were going to go sort of unpunished and unscathed by being allowed to win this game, but they deserved to lose this game. Everybody involved, from Mike Zimmer up to Rick Spielman, down to Kirk Cousins, and everyone else in between, deserves some slice of the pie chart of blame. We're going to turn this over to fans here in a second, Judd, but just real quick, your main takeaway from an embarrassing loss to the Lions.
A terrible loss, but a glorious loss because it now clarifies everything. Everything was crystal clear. Sometimes you have to hit what is your version of rock bottom to see the future clearly, and this did exactly that. Everybody who we've sort of been on the fence about now today showed what they are truly about. That, of course, does not include the magnificent number 18, Justin Jefferson. But yeah, I think today cleared up any questions about Cousins here, about Zimmer here, about Kubiak here. You take your pick. Don't tell me about injuries. Well, Thielen got hurt. Okay.
Nah, everyone deals with injuries, man. Everyone deals with injuries.
And it's the Lions. The Lions are terrible. So anyway, I thought today, in a comical sense, because that was pure comedy, cleared up the future for this franchise, and everyone is going to get what they deserve.
Yeah. I mean, it's you kind of planted the seed a few weeks ago after I think it was the Cowboys' loss on national TV to Cooper Rush, their backup quarterback, that, all right, at least it told you sort of where this thing is at. But then, of course, they kind of come back to life and they win a couple games. And, but that's what this is. They're not going to lose out just because they lost. They might win on Thursday. They might beat the Steelers by 20 points on Thursday night because that's how the Vikings operate. But I've seen enough, as long as Rick Spielman's the GM, and as long as Mike Zimmer is the coach, and as long as Kirk Cousins is the quarterback. And don't be fooled by a 120 passer rating, okay? It was a garbage performance in the first half. They will not win a Super Bowl with those three as the leaders of the most important spots in the organization. So with that, this is Vikings Vent Line, the most fan-friendly show in Minnesota sports. This will be your therapy today after an embarrassing loss. Phil Mackey, Judd Zulgad, and our executive producer, slicing and dicing behind the scenes, Declan Goff. No relation to Jared Goff, the hero of the second half.
Well, I tweeted out, because I think we told Boone this too, like when we played the Lions earlier this season, that there's two Goffs here. Both are overpaid, and only one delivers on their job. So now that is really subject for debate. We'll figure out here, I think, over the next 90 minutes who really delivers and who does not deliver at their job, with the overpaid title still attached to both of those Goffs. Just want to make that clear.
And I think the lesson for Declan Goff is, listen, don't laugh when someone says the Lions are going to beat the Vikings when they have a bad feeling. When an old, wily veteran who's watched many Viking seasons, we have seen this movie before. Let's turn the show over to the listeners here, though, because I don't know how much left there is for us to say right now, and we've got several shows this week to say what we need to. So let's let the fans drive this thing. Declan, who's out of the gate first?
Yeah, let's go to Malcolm. Malcolm, what's up, dude? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, man. How are you?
What's up, Malcolm?
Just watching the same thing, I think, as us as Vikings fans. I've been a Vikings fan for 20 years, just about, since the days of, I want to say, Culpepper, and the 98 Vikings where Gary Anderson missed the kick. So I've been around for a lot of heartbreaks. Today, this didn't feel like a heartbreak. This felt like a prediction. Honestly, just watching Zimmer this year, it was something I called week one. And it seemed like the conservativeness this year was at an all-time high somewhat. And it seemed like in this game on defense, it's been the same thing, sort of, where it's like there's no pressure generated. A good portion of the team doesn't seem prepared for these late moments in the game. And for what I looked at today, even before the game started, I didn't want to wish the team bad. I just knew something was telling me that this is going to end in typical Vikings fashion, with even with our injuries and everything that was going on. But it seems like the door's knocking on, like, as far as.
Oh, we might have lost.
I'll be lost in there. All right. Let's keep it rolling here. Who's next? Who's next on the Vikings Vent Line here?
Yeah, let's go to Skills from Jersey. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you.
All right. So at this point, I feel as though like it's like legitimately over. At this point, just like a couple things. I have 3 phases, so I'll go from like defense, 0 to like no sense of urgency to even stop the run. Like, didn't even stop. They made Jared Goff look like 2018 Jared Goff from the Rams. It just looked completely insane. The offense literally, I mean, was conservative. I started seeing like check down routes and other stuff, and the coaching just terrible. Like, there was a nice little spark, of course, like that's what they were supposed to do. It's the Detroit Lions, but then it's the same thing that we've seen at the end of games. I mean, from like the 25-yard line, you guys let them drive all the way down with 0 timeouts and let Jared Goff score a game-winning touchdown with 3 zeros on the clock. If like this, I'm past it now at this point. I mean, I've been a Vikings fan since 2007. I'm only 25 years old, but at this point, I mean, I just need to hear like what you guys have to say, because like it's over. I mean, out of 4 years, we have a sub 500 record. Kirk Cousins doesn't win in prime time. I don't know what else to say now at this point. Like, it's just done. But I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Good stuff, man.
Boom.
Well, the defense was a hot mess, but actually it was the offense's incompetence, especially in the first half, that drove me far more crazy. The conservative play calling and Kirk as well all came back. But here's my problem with Mike in a nutshell with Zim. When a former NFL kicker is the analyst, and not a great one, but he's the analyst on the game.
Dude, it was bad.
And at the end of the game, Jay Feely is saying, I'd pressure Jared Goff here, because everybody knows Jared Goff, if he's pressured, might start to cry and fall apart. And Mike is playing what amounts to a play it safe and at times prevent defense, as if his defensive chess pieces are good. And they're not. Like, the only way to fluster Goff was going to be to get in Goff's face. And if you did that, you gave yourself a chance. But instead, Mike played this like everybody was there. The whole, like he had Griffin and Hunter and everybody was there, and we're going to get pressure with 3 or 4. So I think in a nutshell, that's where I'm done with Mike, because Mike has just shown his hand too much over the last couple of years. He's not adapting now. Like, he's not transitioning with the game. And when Jay Feely is telling you the right thing to do and you don't do it, that's where I throw up my hands and say, yeah, you know what? What would you say you do here, Mike?
By the way, Spiro Ditas, who has a great announcer's voice, just a wonderful play-by-play voice. I'll just leave it at that. Because with a minute left, he's talking about the Lions kicker being inexperienced, and Jay Feely has to correct him and say, yeah, guy, they're down by 4. Field goal's not going to matter here. It's like, what are you guys doing? Yeah. Anyways.
That's what happens when you get Lions and Vikings on CBS.
By the way, these lights in here are, it's been like 9 months since I've been in the studio. It's just sweating my forehead off in here.
It's hot.
Amazing.
Mackey's hot.
Actually, you know what it is? It's Mike Zimmer's seat is what's right on top
so
here.
Hot,
right?
they
Yeah.
moved it from Egan.
That's right. All right, who's next? Vikings Vent Line. Vikings therapy session.
Let's go to NMR Sports. What's up, man? Where are you calling from? You're on Vent Line.
Oh, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Here, let's go to that. Let's
next one?
bring him back. Yeah.
Yep. We'll go back to actually Emma.
Oh,
Emma,
hey.
what's up? You're on Vent Line. Where are you calling from?
I'm in Indianapolis, actually. But, okay, I got a couple comments, and then I've got a question for you guys. Comment number 1. A lot of throwing short of the sticks again on 3rd down. You've said this, Judd, a lot, but 3rd and 8, throwing it to D.D. Westbrook to lose 2 yards, or chuck it down the field to JJ to try to throw up a 50-50 ball to have your, best player on the team make a play. I choose option B. It's basically like punting anyway. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, I was almost kind of bummed when Alex Madison ran in that touchdown when it was 1st and goal from the 8, because they run too much, in my opinion, on 1st and goal from like the 7, 8, 9 yard line. And now they're just going to keep doing it. But I just think that if it's 1st and goal from the 9 and you get like 2 yards and then 2nd and goal from the 6, like what's the difference between those two things other than the fact that you just lost it down?
Yep.
So
yes, that's a great take.
Feel like they should be checking in the end zone more. And then too many field goals. And then the last thing is, I thought you only went for 2 when you had to, like at the end of the game to tie it up, which is fine. But if you're going to go for 2, don't just like run it up the middle to Alex Madison. And I just feel like the play calling is so vanilla that this offense would be completely boring to watch if it weren't for Justin Jefferson. And then my last question I have is, okay, injuries are just a lot of bad luck, and you can't help that. But at the same time, I wanted to know you guys' opinion if Rick Spielman has a little bit of the responsibility, since we have signed in the past people like Barr, Cook, giving them a lot of money, and then who have already demonstrated a couple seasons in a row that, they're injury prone. And I mean, it's tough. I don't envy them making the decision on what to do with Danielle Hunter, because that's probably just bad luck 2 seasons in a row. But I don't know. I feel like sometimes we give contracts to people who maybe shouldn't be getting them.
Yeah, no, this is a bunch of great stuff. I want to take the injuries thing here real quick, because every team deals with injuries, and I know that there's a lot of Vikings fans that will say, well, look how many players they were missing. Like, okay, I mean, the Packers played a close game, 3 weeks ago against the Vikings, missing like half of their starters, it seemed like, including David Bakhtiari. So here's what's going to happen. Rick Spielman's going to look at Mike Zimmer and say, I drafted 38 players for you. Why are so many of them coming up short when it comes to depth? Like, why are your linebackers your backup linebackers that you should be developing overmatched when we go through an injury issue with the starters? Why are the backup offensive linemen and the Oli Udos in over their heads? That's a coaching and development thing, is what Rick Spielman would say. Mike Zimmer would say, well, why are you signing guys like Kirk Cousins to $45 million cap hits? And you could probably go down the list. Mike Zimmer wanted the Anthony Barr contract, and I'm sure Mike Zimmer wanted a couple of the other contracts, but they're both going to point at each other, and they both probably have some points, but Mike Zimmer's been sounding the alarm about depth on this team for a long time, going back to like the first week of training camp. And you lose to the Lions like this, and it's just a glaring example that the guys who are stepping in for starters aren't good enough. Whether it's a development issue or a drafting issue, it's an issue.
The fact that you had to overhaul in your mind your offensive line today with a quarterback who, by the way, is a massive creature of comfort, right? Like Kirk likes consistency. And Rashad Hill could start for you, I think, the first 5 games. But today you're like, well, he can't start. oh, okay, what are we going to do? We're going to move poor Oli Udo, who's struggling at right guard, to left tackle. And I know that he's a tackle by trade, but I mean, left tackle, that is one of the more difficult positions to play. We're going to bring Garrett Bradbury, who has proven he's not good, back at center and move Mason Cole. Why would you, I think if I'm not mistaken, we're in week 13. Why are you redoing your entire offensive line today? The problem is this. When it's as simple as I could go to Phil Mackey, Declan Goff, and ask them their opinion, and their opinion might be more right than my team, you got problems, okay? We've been talking for weeks about Kane, Nwangu, I don't even know, Spiro Ditas pronounced it.
Wangwu. The last two players is Wangwu.
Okay, so let's go with
in college it was Nwangu.
Okay.
So
anyway,
who do you trust?
Anyway, we've been talking about him playing offense for about a month now, and we've all agreed, man, you get him in space, that's awesome. Like that could be something there. And today on, I think it was the first 2-point conversion attempt, you handed off to him on what you consider to be a trick play, and he went up the middle into the A gap. If I'd come to you guys on Friday and I'd been like, okay, you guys keep this on the down low, but I got an idea. I'm going to give this dynamic player with great speed a chance, but it's going to be more of a power move. You both would have said, Judd, you're crazy. So, like, this is the problem. I'm telling you, when you can start to say, and I'm not saying that I want to go call a game tomorrow, but when we can start to talk about common sense decisions, like what makes more sense? Rashad Hill, who's not great, going back in at left tackle because you previously trusted him? Or does it make sense to really overhaul 3/5 of the offensive line? You're never going to say, let's take plan B, Judd. So
especially with a quarterback that needs everything to be very particular. You could tell he was in full teeth clenching mode in the first half. And then, of course, when it was like nothing to lose mode in the second half, all right, because you look at the numbers, oh, cool, 340 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, a 117 passer rating. That's what the numbers say. Watch the game.
What are you
eye test.
What are you talking about, Judd? Can we just take the next call?
All
right. Who's next? Vikings Vent Line.
All right, let's try to
Can you hear me
NMR
now?
Sports again.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah,
Okay,
we got
cool.
you.
It was the default of the wrong mic. Okay, well, I do want to start off with a little positive note because I know we're all being real negative today. Kirk Cousins lined up under the center the entire game today.
You know what? Round of
Give him a
applause.
round of applause.
Yeah, you know what?
Big congratulations.
Good note.
I was really impressed. I wasn't able to watch the whole game. I went to pick up some Buffalo Wild Wings, though, and I honestly thought about changing my shirt before I went in. This game reminded me a lot of, remember the Denver Broncos game from 2019?
Oh, yeah.
Where we were down by like 30 at halftime? See, that one we came back and won at least. This one should get Mike fired for real this time, right?
Yes.
It has to. There's no more excuses. I don't.
Do you
know
guys
how
think
they
he gets? Do you think he gets fired on a short week before this Pittsburgh game? Because I don't.
Hell no.
I think he coaches out the season.
There's no point now.
But he's done. Yeah. But he's done whenever it may be, Black Friday or Black Monday, whatever. He'll be done. Black Thursday.
I also was tweeting throughout the game, and it's just wild how we can predict every single play that the Vikings are going to run when they're not playing well on offense. Like, literally, I saw it was 3rd and 8. I wasn't even watching the game. I was on my phone. I tweeted, oh, it's 3rd down. How many yards behind the line of scrimmage is this pass going to be? And they passed it 5 yards behind the line to Tyler Conklin.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. I wish I could, like, apply to be the opposing defensive coordinator against the Vikings every week. Because I'm pretty sure I could hold him under 10 points every week.
How about this? And again, like, you know, we're just 4 idiots drinking Surly here, you know, in our little home studios and stuff. And then we're sitting there all season saying, Justin Jefferson looks like one of the 3 best receivers in the NFL. He looks like a Hall of Fame talent. Maybe throw him the ball more than like, it's like if they throw him the ball 10 times, it's like celebration mode, right? God forbid he gets 15 or 18 targets in a game. In the first half today, Justin Jefferson had 6 targets for 85 yards. All other Vikings had 29 targets and touches for 64 yards. So 20 fewer yards. And then, of course, they come out in the second half and make an effort to finally get it to Justin Jefferson, and they finally start scoring points. But why are you conceding 30 minutes of football by doing what you did in the first half? It doesn't make sense. And I get that I'm preaching to the choir with the 3 of you guys. So Yeah. Anyways, all right. Any other thoughts from you? NMR Sports?
No, I appreciate you guys having me on. One last thing. We need to get the ball to CJ Ham more. He had a catch for 19 yards today.
He was
Guy on
amazing
fire.
today. He really was.
Yeah. Anyways, appreciate you having me on,
Awesome,
guys.
dude.
Love it, dude. All right.
That's
Hey,
good stuff.
real quick before we get to our next vent, because I want to put out this comment from Mike Tice, former Vikings head coach, on Twitter.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
He goes, "Really? Effing Detroit? Even my sorry ass never lost to Detroit."
Yeah, well, he's right? Didn't he? He went undefeated against the Lions.
Yeah.
3 years, 6-0.
All right,
Amazing.
We'll keep it rolling. Let's go to Nick. Nick, what's up, man? You're on
Oh,
Vent
what's
Line. Where you
up,
calling
guys?
from?
Just gotta say, big fan of the show. I love you guys.
What's up, Nick?
Go Cyclones! I'm here with my buddies at Iowa State. They're all Bears fans, and one thing I gotta say is, the Vikings are a good football team. They have good players, but they're just horribly coached. I watch the Bears play every week. They're just a bad football team. They are a bad football team. But I just have a couple things I want to say about this game in particular. Zimmer, we've said it all season long. He's supposed to be a defensive guru, right? He's a defensive coordinator acting as a head coach who doesn't know what he's doing on defense. Every single game, our run defense is horrible. We can go to last week against the 49ers with Debo and Elijah Mitchell. I feel like every time a team runs the ball against us, it's a guaranteed 3 yards or more. It's insane. It's not fun to watch. It just having teams go down our throat. Offensively, I feel like there's always something we can take away offensively. I mean, JJ is top 3 in the National Football League right now.
He's so good.
He is that guy. And, I mean, again, we got to feed him more. I think we're doing a little bit better job of feeding him. But Kirk, I don't know if this is Clint Kubiak's fault with the play calling or what on third down, but how many times are we going to see Kirk throw it to Conklin on a 3rd and 20 and just a check down for 5 yards? And everyone knows Conklin's not going to make up the rest of the 15 yards. So it's hard to watch every single week, making the same mistakes. Games going to the 4th quarter every single week.
Yeah, dude.
It's draining. And I'm 19 and I feel like I'm 30. It's
So much pain left, dude. So much pain left. I'd like to apologize for what life has handed you by being a Vikings fan.
Yeah, you got decades of this crap left, man.
Yeah. I
So
know.
strap in. But but the thing is, they suck you in because it's never as bad as the Lions. Like the stuff that the Lions fans have dealt with, it's just bottom feeding last place. The Vikings string you along. They tease you a little bit. They give you that Packers win. They'll give you. My guess is they'll probably beat the Steelers by double-digit points on Thursday to suck you back in again, and then they go and do this every time.
It's unfortunate. It really is.
Nick, great stuff, dude. Hang in there.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, guys.
Bless you. Bless you, son.
You'll learn from this as a fan. On the pressure front, so you guys all watched that last drive as Jared Goff, who is as bad of a starting quarterback as you'll find in the NFL right now. He is just atrocious. And they showed a couple, like that interception he threw, the drive earlier or whenever it was. He's got like 3 wide receivers breaking open, but he can't unlock his eyes from Hawkinson. It's like, dude, you're not a rookie anymore. You've been in a Super Bowl, for God's sakes. So here's why letting your 4 mostly backup defensive linemen who are gassed at the end of a game rush and expect pressure was a huge folly by the Vikings. Jared Goff is one of the worst starting quarterbacks against pressure in the NFL this season. He is, by any measurement, he has a handful of interceptions against pressure. He has a low completion percentage. He's awful always, but he's especially awful under pressure. And they just let him sit there and throw 9-yard underneath routes with their coverage and with not sending an extra man. And then all of a sudden the Lions are, 12 seconds left. They get 3 cracks at it. The Vikings deserve it. Mike Zimmer deserves it. All of them deserve it. But at least Kirk Cousins got his 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and a 100 passer rating. Let's give a round of applause for Kirk Cousins' passer rating, everyone.
Way to go, Kirk. Way
Congratulations.
to go. Yeah, man. That was a great
Incredible.
day.
Yeah, hang the banner.
What a great day. You were given that game. Like the Lions officially, not once but twice, completely lioned, and you gave it back. That's hard to do. There are a lot of Vikings teams that can't accomplish that.
Dude, that was the hold my beer meme in personified form. Like both teams, how atrocious and embarrassing can you be? Hold my beer. No, hold my beer. No, actually, hold my beer again.
They took a delay of game on 3rd and 1 as the clock was winding down. Jared Goff took 2 delay of games.
It's
and
so
even,
bad.
again, Jay Feely, who was a kicker, is like, what's he doing?
What is happening? I know. This is Vikings Vent Line, and it's part of the Purple Daily umbrella of Daily Vikings podcast. Mackie, Judd, Declan Goff, our executive producer. If you're watching us right now on the Score North YouTube channel, please click the subscribe button so that we can give you therapy the rest of the season on a daily basis. And if you're just sick of this mediocre crap, hit the like button because it'll help spread the word about this show to other struggling Vikings fans. So, all right, Dex, who's next?
Let's go to John. John, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line. Where are you calling from?
Plainview, Minnesota. I was actually going to write that down.
Nice.
Okay.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, this game is just, I don't understand the Vikings. Like, why can't we blow out the Lions? Like,
Because they're the Vikings.
They're 0-10. Like Jeff was saying, a comeback game. We should blow them out. But I don't get it.
Yeah, and we're losing you a little bit, but I mean, they've played 12 close games because they're not good enough or they don't have the desire to run it up on somebody. Like we gave the 40-point offensive stat. I mean, the Vikings have enough weapons to score 40 points more than once in 39 games, which is what it's been. And defensively, why are you not trying to apply pressure to one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL against pressure? Like, it's all just mind-numbingly stupid.
And offensively, you had every chance. Justin Jefferson's box score from today's game, which is going to be outstanding, is one of the most deceiving box scores through no fault of his own, in the sense of they almost didn't throw to him the entire second quarter. And they did late when Kirk was like, oh my God, we got to get down the field. Oh my God. But think about if they had actually thrown to him at the appropriate times and done this right. And the other thing I love too, and this is a Kirk thing. So like this is, and the Kirk stands are going to hate this, but it's absolutely true. How about the pass where Justin Jefferson, where was on a choice route, and Kirk was locked into, he's going to cut inside. He's going to cut inside. And so Kirk just zings the ball inside, and it's almost picked because Jefferson saw that he had the defender and was going to cut outside. And then Jefferson, the receiver, who basically has no control of the football until it's in his hands, did the my bad, my mistake. Do you know why? Because he's smart enough to know Kirk will collapse. Like if you get up and are like, Kirk, what the F are you doing? Kirk's going to go into a shell and it's going to get worse. Justin Jefferson, a young man who probably is as frustrated as anybody playing with this team, had to essentially fall on the sword for Kirk. Think about how many quarterbacks would have said, yeah, it's my bad. Choice route, my bad.
And by the way, like when he I almost feel like the first half of this game, they were still sweating the interception and some of the bad play against the Niners. You know, it's just like
they were freaked out by the pick.
All of it, yeah. And if I have to hear one more set of commentators on CBS, Fox, or NBC or whatever network talk about how Clint Kubiak is just, still getting the feel for play calling, and he's just every week is a learning experience for Clint as a play caller. Like, why are you bringing in a guy that needs to just get experience as a play caller in a win now season? It's just like, oh my God, make it stop. All right, who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
Let's go to Vikings fan 47. What's up, man? You're on Vent Line. Where are you calling from?
Hey, fellas. Iron Range. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Yeah, I want to focus on the coaching staff, a few critiques of their approach. So something that we see through the NFL is that scheme or game strategy can sometimes beat more talented team. We see that with New England. In this situation with the Vikings, we're used to having more talent than the other team. And we still hope to just barely win the game because our strategy might be not so good. What I saw today was an opportunity for us staff to be like, all right, this is a winless team. Let's go in there. Let's have a business-like approach. Let's be the aggressor on defense. Doesn't matter who's not playing or who is playing. Next man up. And what I saw from the coaching staff was we're going to play soft, not aggressive. We're not going to press, but we're going to play soft. We're going to give a big cushion, 10 yards, 8 yards. That is big cushion for the NFL. Another thing, coaching critique. They scored on back-to-back drives on seam routes from tight ends against our safety. Those middle third safeties or free safeties, there was no one else in their zone except for that tight end. So whether that's the player or the fact of the game strategy, hey, Jared Goff might try to attack the seams. And looking at film, they should be able, if they beat you once, it shouldn't happen twice on back-to-back drives in the first half. And then the last thing was just the last play of the game with 4 seconds left. We rushed 3, and we played soft on the backside.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how you win football games.
Dude, it was just they were just crossing their fingers and praying on that last drive. Vikes fan 47. All right, good stuff there. Let's keep it moving here on Vent Line.
Let's do it. Let's go to Jim. Jim, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line. Where are you calling from?
The mean streets of Philadelphia. But esteemed gentleman and sports padre, I'm going to get it all out. I'm going to lay back on the couch and let you guys diagnose. This game was a very, your first job when you're working at McDonald's and you mess up really bad and you get fired, but you get fired in the middle of the shift and the manager's just like, you know what? Don't worry about the rest of your shift. We'll figure it out. That's kind of how this game should have gone. Oh, man. Jefferson needs to go to the Wilfs and tell them, hey, it's Zimmer and Kubiak or it's me. We'll figure it out.
I would pay money on pay-per-view to watch Justin Jefferson walk into the Wilfs, wherever their offices are. I'm assuming they have offices inside TCOPC. Knock on the door and just throw everyone under the bus. I'm here for that.
Exactly. I just need an OC who knows that you don't call a draw play on second down. I need him to scheme up correct draws and screens where guards actually get outside the hash marks and actually pull and look for more work. One positive of that is these tight end screens could be explosive if Irv was actually the tight end. Mm-hmm. But that's another detriment to Kubiak because you have to change the play calling for the players that you have. I don't know. And Rashad Breeland, you can go step on a Lego.
Amazing, man. All right, Jim. What happened, by the way, on that? So Breeland, it looked like he was almost trying to bat that pass down. That it was a tailor-made interception in the end zone.
Yeah, I think he dropped it. I think it definitely hit his gloves, and it looked like it bounced off his fingertips. I thought he just dropped it.
All right, Dex, let's keep it rolling.
Let's do it. Let's go to Jake. Jake, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
I'm back, boys. How you guys doing?
Good.
What's up, Jake?
Called in a few weeks ago, like a month ago, the Dallas game. So I'm back. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. Mike Zimmer, to me, is just the only problem. There are issues with everything else, but Mike Zimmer is the reason we're losing these games. He's got no imprint on the offense. Defensively, which is his strong suit, he's supposed to be good at teaching the secondary. And apparently he can't teach zone coverage because nobody can do zone coverage. Breeland can't do zone coverage. Dantzler can't do zone coverage. In the last couple callers ago, when they talked about those touchdowns, the tight ends, the linebacker is supposed to dip back and cover that tight end. He's supposed to get he had the second guy. He had the second guy was his key. He let him go straight by him. And then I forget who's our other safety.
Xavier Woods.
There you go. He had to come back and help. He had over the top, but that was not necessarily his man. It was 59, I think, Vigil. That was his man. He let him go clean by, and that happened about twice. And then just back to Mike Zimmer as a whole. We talk about how, like, a coach and their quarterback and having, like, a rookie contract is going to, like, help the team be stronger, the more money to spread it around. That is exactly the direction we need to go. I looked up, I have it kind of memorized, but I'll make sure I get it all right here. I looked up the longest NFL tenured coaches in the NFL. We got Bill Belichick, Sean Payton, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, Pete Carroll, Andy Reid. Number 7 is Mike Zimmer. He's the only coach out of all those coaches who has never made a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, count the rings with those. I mean, just getting to a Super Bowl would be a step in the last 40 years. But yeah, count the
guys
rings.
Behind him, we got Sean McDermott, and then you got Sean McVay. I mean, McDermott hasn't made a Super Bowl yet. They have an opening right now, but McVay's already been to 1, maybe gets to 2. It's just time.
Yep,
it's time to let him go.
Jake,
perfectly.
Great stuff, man. We'll definitely get you on again sometime. We also have a question from a Patrick James Royce who's watching us on his big screen, God Bless America, in his living room right now. So congratulations to Patrick for figuring out how to access YouTube on his TV in Golden Valley. And he wants to know, were you guys impressed with Kirk Cousins' sportsmanship after the game? Very congratulatory to several Lions. Well, I mean, Kirk won today because his passer rating was over 100 and nothing else matters.
Defense fault.
Everyone else's fault. Defense, coaching,
Kirk was, you know what?
front
Kirk,
office.
I saw that too. I saw Kirk immediately go over and congratulate Detroit. And you know what?
Great leadership.
This might be Kirk's next stop. Go home, play for the home. I'm sure he grew up.
They are in the
a
market for a
Lions
quarterback.
fan. They're going to be, and they're dumb enough to overpay him because his stats are good. Like, he'd be the perfect Lions QB because he wouldn't train wreck them. He wouldn't help them a ton. And he could grow gracefully or not gracefully old there. And it'd be like Kirk Cousins has come back home. I think Kirk Cousins as a Lion might be the most fitting end to his career.
Yeah, and then we could really find out if who's higher on the mediocre quarterback pecking order, Matt Stafford or Kirk Cousins. Put Kirk with the Lions and see if he can win 7 or 9 games. Then we can really crown one of them.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, let's get to our next Vikings fan here.
Let's go to Armando. Armando, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line. Where are you calling from?
I don't.
It's okay.
Are
Take
we
a deep
getting
breath.
rid of Zimmer anytime soon? Are we getting rid of Zimmer anytime soon? That's all I
After
want
the
to know.
season, probably. After the season. I don't
No,
think now.
to-
I know, but I don't think it
today.
makes sense right now. Just calm down. Deep breath. Just like take a second.
No, Jack, help me explain that to me. Why not now? Just explain that to me. I swear I'll go. Just explain that to me.
I don't want you
I'll
to go because this team right now, if you fire him, this team is not worth trying to make a playoff run to get a seed that's going to go to a bad team. So I would far more be prepared to allow what's going to happen now in these last 5 games. And then the day after the season, fire him. I think there's a chance Spielman is let go as well and allow the new GM to assess the entire thing. And I told you, though, I said this a month back, I do not want an interim coach here because of my Leslie Frazier syndrome, which is Andre Patterson's done a great job. Should we consider him? No, I don't want someone off the current staff. I want to get fresh blood in here.
Okay. Well, I'm just as pissed as I was last week. Just to let you guys know, I don't know if you could tell, but I told my friend who's a Lions fan that if those guys lose last week, that they were going to beat us this week, and here we are. We lost to a team that has no wins. We suck. The season's over. I'm done. I'll talk to them next year. Justin Jefferson will be lucky to have him next year. It's over. The season is literally over. Now, if we happen to pull something off, you guys can call me out on it, but I do not see it. It's over. It's over.
Armando, we love having you on, man. Thank you. We're here as your therapists on Vikings Vent Line, Purple Daily.
A lot of work there, boys.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot of work there.
A lot of work to be done.
I think it's interesting that people are in different stages of this. Like I've definitely, and just looking at Twitter throughout the day too, there's definitely people who are in the rage category.
Mm-hmm.
How can this happen? I am raging, And then there's just the sort of exasperated disappointment. I don't know. When they lost to Cooper Rush on Sunday Night Football, I was like, oh, okay. All right. That's what this team is. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to lose out, but I'm very much in the acceptance phase and just sort of waiting for, when's the next shoe going to drop? Is it coach? Is it GM? Is it quarterback? Is it all three? So, honestly, I'll give you a preview. They're going to beat the Steelers on Thursday night. And everyone's going to feel like, oh, look at, and maybe the math will work out like, they're back in the 7 seed.
I can see that.
Like, there it is. Write it down, Dex. I'm hot right now. I told you last week they were going to lose to the Lions.
Yep.
Write it down. Vikings are going to beat the Steelers on Thursday night. And then off the record, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't.
No. But the Cowboys loss, they do help clear things up for the people who own this franchise.
Mm.
Like, that's the thing. Like, if you beat Pittsburgh now, the Wilfs aren't dumb enough to be like, oh, hold on a second. Mike's turned it around. You lost to Cooper Rush. You lost to Jared Goff and Man Campbell, who God bless him, is, I guess, crying again.
Is it true? Yeah, we're getting comments.
I'm sure he's crying. I
did
told you
Dan
guys.
Campbell cry?
Phil, I told you if he won, he's gonna cry.
I'm trying to find it.
I bet he's just absolutely.
Oh well, part of it is because the Lions, spent the entire game. They essentially played this game for the Oxford High victims, and so there's it's pretty. It's an emotionally loaded day for.
Nice. I just thought he'd
the
cry
Lions.
regardless.
He probably would have cried. He probably would have cried either way, right?
Yeah.
I like Dan Campbell. He's showing men that you can be emotionally available.
I'd fire him immediately. You talk about a guy I'd fire. He's
what
awful.
do you mean?
He's awful. He can't coach a game.
Shaves kneecaps.
What do you mean he can't coach a game?
He can't coach a game.
That team fights for Dan Campbell.
They fight, and he cannot manage a game to save his life.
Just calling random timeouts too.
He calls random timeouts. I mean, he knows Jared Goff stinks, and he's still like, "I'm going to have you throw some passes here." What are you doing?
Hey, real quick, Judd, tell the audience why you look so skinny here, since we're about halfway through Vent Line.
That's because of my friends from Livia Weight Control Centers. I am down officially 28 pounds right now, 211 pounds on my way down to 200. And you can join me on this program with the Season to Believe program. Join today, save 50% off the program, and your first visit is free. 855-GO LIVEA, Livia.com, LIVEA.com. 50% off the program if you join right now, and your first visit is free. Start to lose those pounds right now. Don't wait for January 1st. I have actually now down Gene waist size 38 to a 36. The 36
dude,
wow,
again.
Dude.
Wow,
Seriously,
skull,
this program
dude.
works.
Skull
to my weight loss, man.
Judd Zolgad Gene size. This is great.
I'm 36 now, where I should be.
Let's get Judd into some skinny jeans in 2022. That's the goal.
Jean Judd, baby.
Skinny jeans on me would be so offensive to so many people.
All right, who is next on Vikings Vent Line?
Let's go to Will. Will, what's up, man?
Hey, Will.
On Vent Line. How are you?
Well, I feel like I'm in purgatory, and if Judd gets down there, let's get him one of those the Viking cheerleader leggings. We'll get him in one of those.
Oh, I like it.
But,
let's make it happen. Let's shave those legs too.
Oh no.
So I did
Livia and Nivea. Judd Zolgad here.
So I didn't say this last time, but I'm actually related to Jim Marshall. So I love when you guys talk about him. But I'm not even going to lie. This organization now is just kind of a stain on this legacy. It's like a bad business. Right now, it's just like a bad business where you have everyone's had that place where you had the worst managers on planet Earth where they're there to make a buck and then go home. They don't care what's going on. They're there to make a buck. And at this point, it so feels like that right now. I feel like Mike Zimmer's probably more interested in his Instagram girlfriend over at Zimmer Ranch and going home to her. Clint is just, I don't know how his dad's still letting him at the Thanksgiving dinner table or even the
Will,
table.
okay, here's a question for you, Will. Do you think, all right, let's say if Mike Zimmer didn't have an Instagram model girlfriend, what would the Vikings record be this season? Because I'm saying at least 7-5. I think he's distracted.
Yes, I think she's probably sitting in the background being like, "Oh, hey, babe, you know what? You should do this." And I think she's giving him probably the worst advice out there.
blame his poor girlfriend. You guys are terrible.
Oh, so she's the one that likes these tight end screens to Conklin. Okay,
yes,
I see.
Exactly. I think it's her fault. I'm gonna blame it on her. If we're not gonna blame it on Zimmer, we're gonna blame it on her. He needs to. No, he's distracted right now. Something's going on with him. And I mean, I don't know what it is, but something's going on. And I think the organization needs to just be upfront and let us all know what's going on. I'd be more understanding if you let me know, hey, this is what's going on and this is what our plan is going forward. Let us know at least. But I want your guys' thoughts on, at this point, I mean, we're just like Boone said, 50% of the games are won in the trenches on the offense and the defensive line. Out of 10, what are you guys giving both the offensive and defensive line right now? Thanks for having me on.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Will. That's a relative of Jim Marshall, the legend, right there. So you better listen up. Vikings fans.
Yeah.
Real quick before you answer that question here, Shades of Music comments on YouTube. Notice how they never put comments up that call them out for their takes. We should do something once a week where we call each other out for our wrong takes and predictions.
Okay.
Why don't you bank that one, Dex? Maybe we can come up with some sort of idea for like Wednesdays.
So like something where it's quantifiable. And then
Yeah.
and even if it's like a really, really good or a really, really bad take, but it hits and it's accurate, like we call that a home run prediction, or maybe like a touchdown or something of that nature, where we do like
I like
20,
where you're going
20
here.
to 25 solid minutes, and then this just came to me. We bring a listener on to also join us in the fun of making asses of ourselves.
I mean, the fact that you're just spitballing here is really impressive. I hope you're writing all these
Dan
ideas
Seaman,
down.
Are you watching this?
Yeah.
Like, this is some big
genius being spewed right now. All right. I totally forgot what we were going to answer.
To
Will's
grade
question.
on a scale of 1 to 10, the lines. I mean, the offensive line and what they did today is a 0. And I'm not even talking about the players. I'm talking about the fact that they decided to juggle 3/5 of the line because one player was out, which makes no sense. They miss the ends, but keep in mind, both those DTs were back, and their run defense far too often just gets. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah.
So, like, the defensive line against the run, which was supposed to be fixed, is probably about a 3 or a 2 because it's really been bad. And the offensive line, I just think it shows you how little regard they have for the totality of that group when they decide essentially on, I don't know, Friday or something, let's just juggle the whole thing. Like, think about that.
Yeah, dude, it's mind-numbing.
It means they basically have no respect for it. Like, it's like, we can make this work. Well, actually, no, you can't. I would say the Vikings are not a bad business. I would say they're stale. Because I actually don't think they're a bad business. I think they're stale, and
they're actually a great business.
Well, and I mean they did
$250 million in profit last year.
But I mean,
according to Forbes.
But the Vikings are a team where when Mike is fired, and if Rick is fired too, there's going to be a lot of really good names pursue this job.
Yeah. All right, Dex. Let's keep it rolling here. Vikings Vent Line.
Let's go to David. David, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Thanks. So first of all, Mackie, when you made the prediction about the Lions winning, I think a lot of us felt that way. Did you feel it was a home run, or do you think it was like hit by pitch?
Well, I told these guys, I'm like, I mean, it is, it is the Vikings soiling themselves. So can it really be a touchdown? But these guys said it was a touchdown, or a home run, or whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
All right, I'll give that to you then. And so a couple of things. So when you talked about, Judd, you talked about the 3/5 of their line being moved around, then that kind of like begs the question, why would they then try to run it up the middle on the extra points? Going for the 2-point conversions. It's like, you have like arguably the best receiver in the league. Maybe you could try, throwing it to him, or, using your tight end maybe. Yeah. That might be an appropriate place to use a tight end, would be in the end zone to catch a tall pass.
I have no idea. I mean, they went 0 for 3 on 2-point conversions, including one where, because of a penalty, they were at, I think, the 1, right? Half the distance to the goal line.
Yep.
Like, you have to work not to score 3 times on the 2-point conversion.
Mm-hmm. So we talk about the Vikings being a conservative team. I would say they're illogical. And the reason I say that is, right, Stalker gets a holding penalty. Udo gets a false start, right? So it's long yardage. So you throw a flat pass straight down the line and get blown up and lose 2 yards. I don't watch enough of the NFL, other teams other than the Vikings, but I can't imagine that that's a new trend in the NFL. But the Vikings, for some reason, love throwing flat passes straight down the line. There's no reward to that. You're not going to break something wide open, right? The guy's sitting there waiting for the ball. People close on that all the time. And that kind of play happens where they get blown up more times than not.
Yes.
And if you look at like when Diggs and Thielen, right, 2 of the best receivers yards after catch, why didn't they not hit guys in stride and then let them create stuff? It's more like throwing the stuff way downfield, never short yardage kind of stuff. And then you've got this running back that came out of college, right? He's supposed to be one of the best receiving backs in the league. The only time you throw passes to him are screens, and over and over and over. It's so predictable. Like, they're not just conservative, they're just illogical in everything they do when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Throwing a pass straight down the line, that's a pick six or it's no gain. I mean, there's no reward to those. And then the last thing I'm going to say is Mike Zimmer being on the Vikings, this is the last manifestation of the Herschel Walker trade, right? If the Cowboys don't win, he doesn't become this defensive guru. He doesn't end up as the Vikings head coach. So this is hopefully the very end of that terrible trade.
Amazing, David.
That
Amazing
is
stuff,
awesome.
dude. Thanks for coming on.
Yep.
On the offensive, I think a lot of the things that David was talking about, I would just lump into the category of offensive blah, offensive blandness, just lack of originality. And God, you look around the NFC, and just from a quarterback perspective and offensive coordinator, head coaches, you got all these dynamic dudes. Like you got Kyler Murray, even Dak Prescott with a big arm. You got Hall of Famers like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and Russell Wilson. Like, you got all these amazing quarterbacks and weapons. And then you got the Sean Paytons and the Bruce Arians, like Hall of Fame offensive masterminds. And then there's the whiz kid, Sean McVay, like all of this offensive power and minds and everything. And with the Vikings, like, who is it? It's not Zimmer. Who is the offense? Who's running circles around someone offensively? So Kirk's pretty accurate, and if Kirk has perfect circumstances, he can look good. Or if he's forced to in the second half of a Lions game because he got nothing to lose. But the Vikings are out here with water pistols in an NFC just filled with offensive ammunition. And that's the reality.
That's why the best word to describe this is stale, because this thing was originally planned to be defensive masterminds and offense that made sense. And 2017 is probably where, or not probably, 2017 is where they hit on what they thought that they could do. Shermer called plays was fantastic. And were they a high-flying collection? Probably not, but they were good offensively. And Mike's defense was at its zenith, right? Like, that defense was damn good, and it took them as far as it could possibly go. The problem now is, I don't think it's a stretch to say that flat out, the more I watch this defense play, the game in a lot of ways has passed Mike by now. It happens to people. Like, it's not an indictment. It's just,
it's
the reality.
It is an indictment,
right? But it happens. But
it's okay.
Sports. But people who are really good at one time in sports often then give way to people that are younger and smarter and see different trends. And the old guys say, no, A gap, and it's like, oh, no, not really, dude. So I think it's just passed him by. And this team took its stab. It took its chance. And it's now gone. So that's where you have to eventually say, we've got to find a new path. It's that simple, really.
That's the thing. I don't think the 2017 Vikings would have beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. But
that was their chance.
That was their chance.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Zimmer put up an absolute clunker of a game plan against a backup quarterback. Nick Foles did go on to win Super Bowl MVP, but it's Nick Foles. We've had enough Nick Foles sample size to realize that you get outdueled by Doug Peterson and Nick Foles, and it's, they were a red hot tandem at the time, but it's not a great mark on your resume.
I really think the line that you can draw in Mike's tenure here and where it all changed is halftime of the game against the Saints, because the Vikings led comfortably and looked like they were in great shape, and Sean Payton and Breeze in the Vikings building, which was going crazy, came out and damn near beat them. And then to start 2018, Mike's defense started to leak more, right? And I really do believe that Doug Peterson and the Eagles built off what they saw on film. So if there's ever going to be now where we can take a marker and draw a line and say it started to really change here, I think it's halftime of the game that ironically is one of the greatest memories for Vikings fans, but it never should have got to that.
All right, Dex, who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
Yeah, let's go to Evan. Evan, what's up, man? You are on Vent Line. Where are you calling from? You're muted, buddy. You just got to unmute your mic on
there you go.
There you go.
You hear me now?
Yep, got you.
So I'm in Missouri right now. I'm from Minnesota. I'm going to college out here. didn't really get a chance to watch the first half. I tuned in a little bit later. It was about 15-23, and I'm thinking, okay, here we go. Classic Vikings. We're going to lose to the Lions, whatever. So I turn on the game, and the first thing that I see is a score again. And so I'm thinking, we're coming back. And we proceeded to go, I think it was at one point 2nd and 20, and then we throw a negative 2-yard pass for 3rd and 22. And things start to spiral from there. Breland has a pick that hits him in the hands, drops it. We're going for 2 when, again, kind of like earlier someone had said, why are we going for 2 when we don't have to? And at this point, I'm just like kind of wondering what the next step is for the Vikings because, we got Zimmer and his regime of players, guys like Anthony Barr, Harrison Smith, Adam Thielen, and kind of that older group. But you also got, obviously, Justin Jefferson, Brian O'Neill. I don't know if we'll have Daniil Hunter still, but there are some pieces, obviously. I'm wondering what the direction is now because for me, obviously, and for most Vikings fans, I'm thinking Mike Zimmer is not it.
Yeah. No, Evan, I think what Evan just said here, this is where I want the discussion to eventually shift full-time toward here at some point in December, January, which is what's next. It's been almost 700 days since this team was above 500. Unless they rattle off 3 wins in a row, they're probably not going to be above 500 this year. So I think a lot of people, I did sense a lot of people were actively rooting for them to lose that game today too, because it's not that you're being a bad fan or that you want your favorite team to lose. It's that you want your team to win big, and you just don't think that the current operation is going to be able to get there. And from that perspective, maybe it was mission accomplished today. If you're going to do it, just do it and rip the Band-Aid off and get it over with so we can start talking about what's next around here.
And I think it's tough to talk about what's next until we know who is going to be in charge of hiring the coach. Because personally, I would change GM and coach. But with the way the Wilfs are, I'm not positive that happens. And this conversation is very different if Rick is now put in charge of hiring Mike's replacement. So the real question gets to be how complete is the overhaul going to be? Because if you get rid of Rick and Mike, there's a good chance that Kirk is gone too. If you keep Rick and get rid of Mike, there's a good chance that Kirk gets extended, I think. And so it's hard to say exactly how much is going to get blown up here. Personally, I think if you're going to get rid of Mike, you get rid of Rick and allow a fresh set of eyes to come in here and start again when it comes to the coach, and they can decide what they desire in an offense and probably most importantly quarterback.
All right, Dex.
Let's go to loyal listener Ben in Florida. Coach Ben, what's up, man?
What's up, Ben?
Hey, what's up? Yes, Judd, you were right. I was actively rooting for the Vikings to lose this game based on how they were playing. But I will just say this, and I know there's been a lot of negativity about this game, and rightfully so. I just, from my personal feelings, I think the Wilfs are really good owners. I think because they invest in the team, they put down the cash. I think they always reach that certain breaking point, and I think they finally reached that breaking point. The Vikings will have a new coach next year, and I also think they'll have a new GM. The question is, who is he going to be? I think the Vikings are a very attractive destination for a coach and a GM. But the Wilfs are not Glenn Taylor. They're not Bob McNair of the Texans. Like if they were like that, I would be very concerned about the future of the franchise. But I think that with the ownership the Vikings have, they're going to be an attractive destination, and the roster needs an overall, and they have a ton of tradable pieces on the roster. They can accumulate draft picks as long as they're willing to maybe tank for a year. Mm-hmm. It's just, I just think they're in a very good position right now if you're looking at it from an ownership, because sorry, Mike, we had your run. Sorry, Rick, you've had a run probably longer than you should. There's no change needs to be made. No question about it.
Let's play a game here. I think so. Ben's been. Can we bring Ben back up?
Yeah.
So Ben's been a regular caller. You're one of the OG callers into the radio edition of Vent Line. We're all kind of on the same page here about we think there's going to be a new coach. So let's do this. I'm going to count to 3, and on 3, all of us are going to say the name of the person that we want to be the next head coach. And so I get that we haven't all done full homework on this, but like just the names that you've sort of seen and heard to this point, just think about it for a second. And Judd's going to start. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. Judd, you throw out a name. Immediately as Judd's like saying the last name of the coach, I want Dex to rapid fire second. Ben, you go third. Like boom, 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 boom. I want to rapid fire just the 4 names. All right.
Okay.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore.
Eric Bieniemy.
Doug Peterson. Eric Bieniemy is interesting because Kansas City's offense has lost a little shine this season, and I feel like he deserved a head coaching opportunity and still does. And I wonder if that window will have passed for him. But we'll see. He doesn't feel as hot of a candidate as maybe the last couple years.
I think the development of Patrick Mahomes just can't be understated at all. You know, like Eric Bieniemy comes in, I think they definitely need a quarterback, and I would trust Eric Bieniemy way more than I would trust Mike Zimmer to develop the next quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's just it's going to be an offensive guy for sure.
Yes.
But the question is, which guy will it be? And the new GM will be making that decision. So that's just, I feel like the franchise is in a good place, even though a loss and win as Lions looks bad. I think everything is going to be personally okay from next year and beyond.
Yeah. All right. Ben, great stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of Doug Peterson pushback here in the comments here, but I know that the way that things ended in Philadelphia was very fiery. It was just kind of a train wreck on all fronts, and Carson Wentz wasn't developed. But Doug Peterson has won a Super Bowl. He's an offensive-minded guy. He brought Nick Foles to a Super Bowl MVP. He had Carson Wentz playing at an MVP level before his injury, and he's kind of taken a gap year. I think he's going to be back as a head coach next year. So
I want to
talked into it. I could definitely be talked into it.
I think I prefer a young offensive mind who's going to come in, and I can be damn well sure that he's going to have a very good idea of where the league is trending offensively and quarterback development. That's what I want.
Shades of Music coming in here for another L on the YouTube comment section. Imagine Mackie and Judd as a Patriots podcast back in the day. Every time Brady has great stats but loses, is it Brady's fault too? Well, you can count on about one hand how many times Brady had great stats and lost a game with the Patriots. The next time I hear someone using Tom Brady in the what about sense when it comes to Kirk Cousins, you should just delete every social media account that you have.
Shades must watch us just to get his daily dose of hate out.
Shades, you're 0 for 2, but keep going back to the well here.
I hate those guys so much, I'm going to watch them.
Oh, man. All right, who's next, Declan?
Let's go to Alex. Alex, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line. Where are you calling from?
What's up, guys? This is Alex in Kenosha.
Kenosha, okay. All right.
Yeah, so just wanted to say basically that I wasn't even really mad about this game. Like, when I think about this team, I was just waiting for this shoe to drop. Like, when I look at the Zimmer tenure under Spielman, I think the biggest mistake that the Wilfs made was after that Saints playoff win before San Francisco, Dallas was going to give you first-round pick potentially for Zimmer. And you said, you know what? We've seen this, and it's good enough. And you know what? Since then, it's been terrible. It's been this game has always in their DNA. They can always lose this game, and it doesn't. No matter what they're if they go 13-3 this year, whatever it is, 13-4. I do not trust these guys to win 3 straight playoff games. There's no way I'd be confident in any of them. So when I look at them, like, good, finally, let's get this Band-Aid off. Let's move on. Let's stop doing. And I heard the radio call of the game, and these guys, I get that they're paid to support the team, but it's like, what delusion are you living in? They're like excited that they're like clawing back against Jared Goff. They already lost to Cooper Rush. Like, what are we doing? Like,
yes, Alex. Overall, yes, this is amazing.
And this is like me. I'm not even mad about this, and then it just divulges into this because it should be better. We have competent owners, and it's like raise the bar like one rung, and we would be able to say, you know what? No, Dallas, good. You know, good luck with a 60-year-old defensive coach. Have fun. They hired Mike McCarthy after the sleepover. So let's move on. Let's look to use Justin Jefferson but that's what it comes down to for me is when ownership says this isn't good enough, then I'll be 100% invested again because this is just what are we doing?
Totally fair.
Love it, man. Alex just bringing the heat, man.
That's great
Bringing
stuff,
the
Alex.
fire from enemy territory. Thanks for coming on, man. Definitely.
He's 1,000% right, though.
Get Alex in
He's
again.
1,000% right, and that's why the Wilfs probably need to change the GM too, because Rick has been their football voice for a long time, and they trust Rick, and they like Rick, and that's fine. But at some point in time, you have to look at all of your football ops department and say, who's really doing constructive work here, and who's telling us what we want to hear, as opposed to what we need to hear. And that's part of the problem with executives. A lot of them cling to their jobs with the hope that ass kissing is going to save them. Instead of saying, I'm going to have to go tell the Wilfs the truth here, which is we don't have it. And here's what we need to change. And when that happens, things will change for the better.
Yeah. Hey, real quick here before we get to our next Vikings fan, we do have some breaking news. The Cousins Crusaders have done the number crunching, and this is now the 21st consecutive game in which Kirk has avoided blame for a performance or a loss. So congratulations.
So what do we got?
Congratulations. I just told you, 21 consecutive games.
Did Kirk say
he has avoided blame? He does not take any blame or deserve any blame for a Vikings loss because he hit a 100 passer rating and 300 yards with no interceptions, and therefore, because the box score checked out for Kirk, the Cousins Crusaders have deemed him blameless for this loss. So look elsewhere. Negative Nancy's.
I'm just excited for the day after Kirk leaves when the Crusaders turn and stab him in the back. At 2 Crusaders.
Oh, man. All right, who's next?
Let's go to Cali Viking. Cali Viking, what's up, man?
Yeah.
How's the weather there? It's snowing here.
Ooh. I just want to say Merry Christmas, and especially to the Lions fans right there. Under that Christmas tree is your first win, man. Man, is depressing like always, but I want to just got some notes going though. First off, the old line, they tried that out there. Why would you switch up 3 positions for one guy gone? I just don't understand that. They want Davis not in there so bad. Like, what did this guy do? We don't know. We never heard nothing. What's going on? That is like a real question mark in the development department, coaching. Of course, Will Spillman, he did the 3rd round draft pick for that. Next, Zimmer. Like he's doing with me. I'm all hyped up. I'm shaking. He's shaking when he's doing play calling. Like, 3rd down, what I do? Let's bring him back 8 yards and let Jared Goff cook. Nah, what are you doing? Throw the double A gap. The backup linebackers, how come they don't practice that? It's like Krendricks and Barr, they're the only ones that could do that. What's going on in practice? What are they making them do? That's what I'm saying. It should be the same type of thing, plug and play. That's coaching right there. Next thing, check down Cousins. It's we're up by 3, moving down the field. Justin Jefferson throws that big yard across the side, get that 34 yards, and then a big play, 3rd down, chance to blow the game open. And what does Kirk do? Throw it behind the line of scrimmage to your right side for a 3-yard loss. Real depressing. Number 4, push up the middle. Bradbury, what are we doing? Rick, what is Rick telling him? He's a 1st-round draft pick. Yo, keep him in. He's not a bust. Yes, he is a bust. Let him go. That's it. Done with the push up the middle. Udioto, I feel bad for him, man. They're moving him up and down, left and right. I feel bad for him, boy. He looks lost in the sauce. I mean, it is what it is.
Cali Viking, hey, happy holidays to you, man. We'll see if we can maybe get the Lions a couple more gifts under that tree in the last month and a half.
Man,
Poor
Campbell
Lions.
loves it.
Oh, it's great stuff, man. God, I mean, like his points about the backups coming in. Do you think if Anthony Barr and Eric Kendricks were the linebackers on the field for that last drive, would the Vikings have laid off 10 yards off the line of scrimmage with no extra pressure? I agree. It's almost like Zimmer doesn't trust his own backup players to come in and execute the same exotic blitz packages or whatever. And if that's the case, then that's on coaching too.
But you're giving away the game then. Like that is if you had asked for the recipe for disaster on a last drive, and I don't care who the opponent is, the Vikings played it. Like I'd much prefer you be aggressive and get burned than you lay back. It was 3rd and 10, right? They're laying back 15 yards. They gave them a 1st down. They gave them 13 yards. It's 3rd and 10. Why would you give him? This is Jared Goff and the Lions,
dude.
It's not TB12. This ain't TB12.
I mean, KC8 is basically the same guy as TB12 over there, so I don't know what you're talking about, Zolgan.
Poor. You know what, Dex? We are therapists, okay? So let's go easy. The Kirk stands, the Cousins Crusaders, even they need our help. It's December, the holiday season. We're trying to help everybody. We can't pick and choose. We're trying to help them too.
We're here for all of our
Vikings
brothers and sisters. Yes.
Exactly right, because the Cousins Crusaders are going to have their day where they meet the fate of what happens to KC8, and who's going to pick up the pieces, boys? It's going to be this show.
That's right. And if you're enjoying Vikings Vent Line today, this is part of Purple Daily Vikings entertainment, therapy, loathing, fear.
Don't
Speculation
miss Alex Boone on Tuesday, by the way. I have a feeling that Booney's going to take it to new heights.
Yeah, Boone has been so much fun this year on Purple Daily. He's taught us more about offensive line play too, with his film breakdowns. And stuff.
I cannot wait to ask him. How do you feel about 3/5 of the line being changed?
Well, dude, he's the one. It's funny because he was a guard, and he very infamously stepped up when Matt Khalil went down with a knee injury or something, and TJ Clemmings was getting destroyed, and Alex Boone walked into Mike Zimmer's office and said, "I will play left tackle for this team." And they kind of laughed at him and said, "Dude, just go back to the practice field."
Right.
And it didn't sit well, and there was a rift and whatnot. Well, I mean, they literally put one of the worst right guards in the NFL, a young player with no experience, at left tackle today, and then brought Bradbury back after Kirk Cousins has felt very comfortable with Mason Cole, who's played well the last month.
Yeah.
Just incredible. But anyways, click subscribe if you're hanging out with us on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, and then we will give you daily Vikings content. And also click the like button if you're just sick of the crap. You just want your favorite team to win and win big. You're sick of people maybe chiding you for not being full-on loyal to a mediocre team. You can be loyal and still want your team to make big changes, and maybe even take one step back for the purposes of 2 steps forward too. We're trying to sort of redefine what makes a good Vikings fan on Purple Daily. There's many different types of ways to be a good fan. All right, who's next here on Purple Daily?
Let's go
on Vikings Vent Line.
Neil, what's up, man? You're on Vent
I'm
Line.
a first-time caller, somewhat long-time listener.
Where are you calling from, man?
Minneapolis.
All right.
And I'm just going to start off by saying I have never been a Cousins stan, fan, or anything like that. I've been skeptical since day one. And I think, we don't see that much of his flaws in this game as we do some other games, like Cowboys games. But I think one of the things that we don't look at as often as we do other quarterbacks is his chemistry with his receivers on the sidelines. You look at someone, Tom Brady's been brought up a lot in this call, and I think you look at someone with Tom Brady, whenever you see him on the sidelines, either starting films or he's talking to one of his receivers, trying to figure out what the next best play is, where he went wrong on that thing. And I get nervous because I look at Jefferson on the sidelines, and he looks bored and he looks frustrated. Obviously, you're very frustrated with this team. But it looks like he doesn't want to be here. And you know what? If anyone, we have to protect him for next year. He's the number one guy on this team, on this squad. I mean, we have a bunch of good defensive players, but at the end of the day, whatever, we have Zimmer's defense, so we can get through it. But no, I just think that I'm concerned of when we do eventually get rid of Zimmer at the end of the season, which I think is inevitable. I think that we're going to saddle up on Cousins again, and I think we're going to rely on him again, which is kind of the same tune we've been playing, and I think we're going to get the same results from him. It's just going to be a circle, rewinding. So I'm very frustrated about that. And if we do keep Cousins for a couple next years, you know what? He's terrible under pressure. Bradbury sucks. Put the long snapper in. Give him 20 yards to throw the ball. And he has a good arm. Put him in there and give him time because that's what he needs. And I'm sick of him just constantly wincing like he's passing the kidney stone. So you know what? I'm just done with this. Let's draft a quarterback. Try to start new. Maybe keep him another year, but then I'm done with it. I'm cutting ties. We lost to the Lions. One of the most embarrassing things. I mean, we had two, in my opinion, of the most embarrassing losses of not Vikings history. I'm probably engaging in hyperbole, but we lost to the Cowboys with Rush, and then the winless Lions. So I mean, come on, something needs to change. And
Dude, Neil, first of all, Teeth Clencher Cousins, I think, is the new nickname we're going to add to the bunch here. But that is the vent of the night. Give it up for Neil, man.
Yep. Way to go, Neil.
Neil just killed it, man. So Neil, so you're gonna get a night for 4 people to the Surly Beer Hall. 2 appetizers for the table, 4 entrees, and 3 beers per person. The Surly Beer Hall is back. I'm going to make an appearance there on Thursday night for a little bit before that Vikings-Steelers game. Over 30 beers on draft from the flagship Surly Furious, which is what's in front of Judd's head right now, all the way to experimental and vintage beers and amazing food in both the kitchen dining hall area and also Surly Pizza upstairs. So congrats, Neil. Send an email to Declan on the Vikings on a Vent Line. It's Vikings Vent Line at gmail.com.
Awesome.
And we'll hook you up, man. All right, dude. Great stuff.
Great.
Yeah, dude, that was God dang it. I love. We've got some of the best, smartest, and also funniest listeners of this show.
Yep.
You guys raise the bar every single week. I love when new people come on too and just raise the bar even more. So that was awesome.
And it shows too that there are so many people that are sick of the pandering and the Vikings are great. The Vikings are there are a lot of really intelligent football fans and Vikings fans, and to have them in this community of ours is absolutely so much fun.
It's a blast.
I love it.
Yep. Let's keep it rolling here. Vikings Vent Line.
Let's go to Jeff. Jeff, what's up, sir? How are you? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
I started out at 21 years old today, and now I'm 51.
Jeff aged 30 years in the second quarter, actually.
Years. No, I tell you one thing. The worst of all this is that I'm the idiot. Okay, I gave up at halftime. I kept watching the score a little bit on the phone, and I got drawn back in to watch it. I knew it was coming, right? I've been watching this for my entire life. My dad sentenced me to this team, okay, and and I knew the writing was on the wall, and I'm just so tired of supporting these perennial losers. Really Minnesota sports teams. I'm from Sioux Falls area. I drive up to multiple games a year. Vikings or Twins and T-Wolves and the Wild. Wild are pretty exciting.
The Wild are pretty badass, man. Yeah, the Wild are badass this year.
But I tell you one thing, it's just like, do the Wolves think we're going to be this stupid forever? I mean, people got to give up on this. I mean, I can't hardly handle it. My heart, I can't. I get so pissed off. Excuse my language.
No, you're good.
And I just don't know. We play soft defense all the time. The game has passed Zimmer by, and I do believe Spillman's got to go as well, and Kirk sucks too. Where is this organization? I mean, really,
yeah,
my son and I just we're all complaining back and forth, and I'm the idiot that got everybody in it, So
it's not your fault. Your dad's fault, Jeff. Come on.
It is my dad's fault. He gave me that lifelong sentence.
Sounds like terrible parenting all throughout your family, quite frankly.
Yeah, it is, and I don't know. It's just I have such a love for this team, and I took my wife on our honeymoon to the Twins. How romantic, right? I mean, I'm an idiot. I don't know.
It's okay, man.
You guys get paid. I just have to pay too.
Yeah, you're just shelling out money for garbage. Jeff, great stuff, man. Come on again, definitely sometime. I love it.
That was epic.
Man, it's just like it's true. Now the Wild, that team is now. There's about 4 months left in the regular season here. We'll see what happens.
The X was buzzing last night, baby. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Oh my God,
the X was
that was such a fun game.
You know what? You know what's amazing, boy, when you hire a GM who comes in and has a vision and knows how to win, and then they tell ownership not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. Sometimes it works.
It does. Yeah, it's interesting.
What do you know, Judd? Rick Spielman knows more about football. Yeah, okay, that's cool.
You should start unbuttoning your shirts like Rick Spielman does, though, and show off a little of that.
I do have the chest hair. Yeah. Like if you want to see the chest hair,
I think he shaves or waxes.
I don't think you guys want to see.
I think he waxes.
No, but
does Rick Spielman wax his chest tomorrow on Purple Daily? We discuss.
Stop. Let's keep going.
All right, who's next?
Let's go to Josh. Josh, what's up, dude? Welcome back to Vent Line. How are you?
I mean, how good could I be, right? This is every week. I don't understand it. I live in Denver, and every week we end up watching the Vikings at the end of the game, and everybody just roots against me. It crushes my soul.
Now, do you just follow Teddy to all of the cities that he plays in? Were you in New York?
George Payton. He's a big George
And
Payton
George
guy.
Payton, yeah.
Yeah, follow
Yeah.
George Payton.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think you guys get enough credit having a show about the Vikings, and there are no obscenities. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
I know we got Christmas right around the corner, but anytime I'm outside the room, my relatives are weaving a tapestry of obscenities.
We're like the Vikings Walendas. We are trained high wire artists. It's very difficult for us to not say F-bombs.
Of obscenities is a great phrase. That's damn near a band right there. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together.
No, absolutely. Well, I love the show, guys. I appreciate you having me on. I guess we just hope for a tank right now. I mean, I don't want them to lose every game, but
they won't.
Don't worry.
No, dude, they're gonna beat the Steelers on Thursday.
Yeah, you're probably right. Thanks, guys.
Yep. I mean, the Steelers are the Steelers are playing the Ravens in a late afternoon game, and that's going to be a black and blue. Ben Roethlisberger's telling his teammates he's going to retire. They're going to beat the Steelers on Thursday. It doesn't matter. But.
All I know is that Kirk and the offense did their job and were let down by the defense. It's the defense's fault. The quarterback and the rest of his teammates on offense, they did exactly what they were supposed to. Gave them a lead.
It is amazing. This is another just
things.
Classic. This is his career. And yes, the defense was ravaged by injuries. They were gashed in the first half and on the last drive by Jared Goff. There's plenty of blame to go around. But people are literally going to look at this and say, well, 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, a 116.7 passer rating. If you think Kirk is part of the problem, then you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And those people either are blind or didn't watch the game, the first 2 quarters in particular.
And we had, 3 surefire picks that the Lions didn't capitalize on?
Yeah, those 2.
I think there were 3 that easily could have been picked off by competent defenders.
I think that's the thing, too. When Kirk thinks be more aggressive, it somehow translates toward be a sprinkler of interceptable passes as opposed to just like a calculated aggression that's
a sprinkler of interceptable passes.
Oh, God. It looks like we got Luke here next on Vent Line.
Luke, what's up, man?
Nothing much, man. Thank you guys for allowing me on the show. I watch you guys every Sunday.
Thank you.
I've been watching you guys since
sorry about that.
We appreciate you, Luke.
Man, I've been on the Zimmer out train for the last year, man. I'm just tired of it, And we keep talking about how he's so conservative. If you guys think, if we go back to the Saints game where Dick saved us, at the end of the game he was like, "Oh yeah," and that Breeze last drive, I was maybe too conservative. It's like, for how long? How long? Even today, after Goff went 3 and out, we had the ball. Even the punter that was on the press box, you can hear him say, "Oh, that last drive was probably Zimmer telling Kubiak, let's be conservative, let's not turn the ball over." It's like, why? With all the talent we have, it's never gonna end, man. Zimmer has to go. I just feel like the game is past him. For example, we didn't keep running Madison through the middle. And I think he needs to be cut too. I don't know why he's still a backup. We should have kept Boone. If we go back to the Seattle game, it was obvious. Madison cannot run through the middle. I know he scored a touchdown, but he's not shifty.
Mike, isn't Mike Boone getting some run for the Broncos?
Got hurt here in training camp. I didn't know if he was back yet or not. Yeah, he in the joint scrimmages here, he got hurt. He was carted off the field. I saw it.
Yeah, Mike Boone, he is with Denver. I did see him pop up. I thought he might have got some. He was supposed to get some carries. He popped up on my deep fantasy running back waiver options today. I was like, Mike Boone?
And up next, Phil talks about his
Where'd that guy come from? Yeah, you guys want to hear more about my fantasy
team? And then his rotisserie baseball league team, Freddie Freeman. Should Phil trade him or not?
A lot of debate over daily or weekly lineups in the fantasy baseball league. I'll tell you guys about it.
Oh boy, we can't wait for that.
And just to make a few more points, it's like even since last year. I wish we lost every game because last year was kind of quarterback heavy, but then it was like, can Zimmer really coach a new QB?
Right?
Is it the guy to that we want our young quarterback to be coached by? And it's not. He's too negative, too conservative, too negative. It's like No.
Yeah.
And then, last question for you guys. I mean, we already know Zimmer is going out, but as for GM, if Steven does leave, who will we want to hire? We don't really have a good track record of being aggressive and hiring the right guys. We haven't had a good quarterback for a long time. Even I'm with Judd. I don't want an interim coach. We had Brad Childress, Leslie Frazier. I'm tired. I want an aggressive coach.
We're all tired.
Yeah,
that's part of the problem.
Luke, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Great stuff,
Get
Luke.
Luke on again. The thing about the GM spot too is, I mean, I know that Rick hasn't been in that official role his entire time with the Vikings, but he's been the GM for almost 10 years, and he's been helping to run football ops ever since the Wilfs arrived. Though it's not like the Wilfs, they've had multiple experiences hiring head coaches, starting with Brad Childress, but finding if they are indeed kicking the tires on maybe just cleaning out the front office or at least cleaning out Rick Spielman, that's going to be something that they really haven't done in 15 years.
I know. Like, do you go with a search firm? Do you go with and that can be scary because I don't think with search firms in this town there's been a ton of success across the board.
Dude, Glenn Taylor paid like $200,000 to be referred to Tom Thibodeau. It's like,
who, by the way,
he was like the highest profile candidate. We could have just told you
no business being a Pobo like coach. Yeah, fine. But I think if the Wilfs end up going with a new GM, here's my guess. It's a name we're not going to know. Like, I don't think that's as recyclable enough as coaches are. So I think if you go with a GM, it's probably going to be like Broncos fans thought of Peyton, which was probably who's George Payton.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't think that it's a slam dunk that if they go with a GM that it's going to be a name that is readily recognized.
So, again, there's so much to be done. The Vikings still play the Bears a couple times. I think this might have been the day that finally did it for Matt Nagy. I think Matt Nagy gets fired sometime in the next 48 hours because they were supposed to fire him like a week ago.
Oh yeah,
and they just got the bleep beat out of him by Arizona today at home.
Yeah, the McCaskies though have never fired a coach in season.
This feels so toxic though, and they're ruining Justin Fields to some extent.
Yeah, but
I guess what I was going to say is like if the Bears hang on to Matt Nagy, I think the Vikings could pick up 2 wins against Chicago. But if they fire Matt Nagy, I think you could see the Bears perk up a little bit, show some pride, and play for someone new, and then you might be looking at a loss at Soldier Field or something.
I'm certain of this: the Vikings are not going to run the table on losses. Beyond that, I don't know now. Like, I just don't know. Today might have been the first time, including the Cooper Rush game. Today was the first time that there were elements I thought of we're done.
Like quit done or what?
Quit. Yes, like players, like there were
Justin Jefferson. I don't think is quitting by any means because he put up ridiculous numbers. But his body language was like eye roll body language today.
But I thought I saw some guys make business decisions at times, which I don't think until today I've seen. And I can't. You know what? At this point in time,
I think Clint Kubiak made a couple business decisions on 2-point conversion play calls. He's like, I don't want to be here anymore. This is ridiculous.
How do you go for 3?
Just hand the ball off up the middle.
How do you go 0 for 3?
I quit.
How do you do that? It's damn near impossible.
Well, then they tried to run. It was kind of a deception play with Wongwu, right? He was coming across. It was like they had motion. They sort of, I can't remember exactly what happened. It was like they almost like faked a handoff to the left, and then he comes around sort of the right. It's like
I think it was a running back at the normal position, Osborne in motion. Wongwu, as soon as the ball is snapped, takes the ball from left to right, but then he cuts right up into the middle of the defensive line.
But like, why is he? And again, these are more rhetorical questions. I really wanted to see just to see what it looked like. 8 to 10 offensive touches for him instead of, dude. Alex Madison is a backup. He's a good running back, but he's a backup running back. And instead of saying, all right, let's give Madison maybe 12 to 15 and then sprinkle in 10 for Wongwu and see what happens. 22 carries for Madison, another 3 targets. So 25 targets or carries to Madison. Wongwu had 2 carries, and he also had 2 catches. Now, none of them really went anywhere.
Right.
But I think the runs were like just sort of, it was almost like these are the same runs that Madison would get, and he's spelling Madison. I'd love to see them find creative ways to get Wangwu in space like 8 times, and you're gonna whiff on 3 of them. Not all of them are going to be home runs, but give yourself a chance to get that dude out in space and see what happens.
They ran at least 2 plays for him that they would have been better off handing the ball to CJ Ham on. Because he would have just pounded it. Like, Wangwu's not going to pound through the line. That's a ridiculous notion.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there were at least the 2-point conversion, and then there was another one where Madison had come out, where Wangwu was basically asked to pound through the line. And it's like, if you're going to do that, just hand the ball to CJ Ham. It actually makes more sense.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Federated, too. Federated will protect your business better than the Vikings offensive line protected Kirk Cousins today. Not Kirk's fault. Never Kirk's fault. Federated's been around for over 100 years. They're based in Owatonna, Minnesota. They're one of us, huge supporters of Score North, Mackey and Judd, Purple Daily. So if you're a business owner and you're just looking for better frontline protection, risk management, bottom line protection, employee protection, let Federated help you. Trusted resources and people, again, going back 100 years. Federatedinsurance.com, and remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. All right, dudes, that's a wrap on this episode of Vikings Vent Line. If only one of us could have foreseen this coming a few days ago.
Oh, very nice job. Kirk, by the way, is now, when trailing, entering the 4th quarter, 2-26-1.
Well, yeah, but it's not his fault.
Yeah, the defense gave up those points. And
did you see his stats today?
Like that.
His stats were unbelievable. This was a great game.
What do you want the guy to do?
I hear that Jefferson, if Kirk is gone, is going to demand a trade to Kirk's new team because they have such a chemistry.
Wherever Kirk goes, I go.
Yep.
Handcuff us together.
And Clint, too. Give me Clint. Give me more Kubiak.
Well, hey, we're here for you guys. This has just been a gut punch of a season, but we've got you covered. Daily Vikings therapy, entertainment. Vikings Vent. A couple of people asking, will Vikings Vent Line take place on Thursday night this week? You damn right it will. Right after the Vikings Steelers game.
Doesn't take games off?
It's an absurd question.
Vikings Vent Line takes no games off.
No, we've got you covered right after that Steelers game. Vikings Steelers at US Bank Stadium Thursday. And tomorrow will be Pie Chart of Blame Monday on Purple Daily. Don't forget to click subscribe and the like button on this video. It helps spread the word about this community of Vikings fans. And a shout out to our friends at Surly for presenting all of this.
Don't forget, kids, drink your Surly. It'll make it at least a little bit better.
Brush your teeth with Surly, kids. That's right. It really doesn't have any whitening effects, but it'll make you feel good. So
It'll make you feel much better.
All right. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Vikings Vent Line. See you guys tomorrow on Purple Daily.